Courage to fall forward. Why facing your fears changes everything. What if the thing you're most afraid of is exactly what you need to embrace? I recently had the privilege of interviewing Melissa Montgomery, a remarkable woman whose insights on fear and courage have transformed countless lives. Her wisdom, distilled from decades of helping people face their deepest fears and emerge stronger, forms the backbone of what I'm sharing today. Melissa isn't just a thought leader, she's a catalyst for human transformation who has helped thousands reclaim their power by turning toward the very things they've spent lifetimes avoiding. The truth is, we're all carrying something heavy, something that whispers, you can't, when you dream too big, something that tightens your chest when you consider taking that leap. And if you're anything like me, you've gotten pretty good at avoiding those feelings. We build elaborate detours around our fears, calling it being practical or waiting for the right time. We convince ourselves we're making wise choices when really we're just making comfortable ones. But what if those fears are actually signposts pointing towards our greatest growth? As Melissa Montgomery so eloquently put it during our conversation, the things that terrify us most often contain the seeds of our transformation. Isn't that a fascinating paradox? The very things we run from might be the things running toward us with gifts. Let me tell you about three extraordinary women whose stories illustrate this truth with stunning clarity. Melissa Minnelli was, by all outward appearances, the embodiment of success. As an international consultant with impressive credentials, she had the career many dream of. But beneath that polished exterior, she was drowning. After leaving a difficult marriage and becoming a single mother, Melissa found herself at what she calls her beautiful rock bottom. Beautiful? Yes, you heard that correctly. She uses that word deliberately because what seemed like absolute failure became the foundation for something authentic and powerful. Everything she thought defined her success had crumbled. Her prestigious career, her marriage, her sense of identity, all gone. She felt like a failure in every sense of the word. The fear of never recovering, of never finding solid ground again was overwhelming. But here's where her story takes an unexpected turn. Instead of running from that pain or disguising it with a brave face, Melissa did something radical. She leaned into it. She developed what she now calls her process build rise framework, combining trauma informed psychology with neuroplasticity research. The moment I stopped hiding from my pain, she told me, was the moment I reclaimed my power. Today, Melissa Minnelli is the author of Have the Guts to Fail, the blueprint for rising from rock bottom to authentic success. Her workshops draw leaders from around the world, and she's fundamentally changed how entrepreneurs view setbacks, shifting the conversation from shame towards self compassion and actionable recovery. But what strikes me most about Melissa's journey isn't just her professional comeback, it's that she discovers something profound. True power lies not in never falling down, but in our ability to rebuild after loss. Let that sink in for a moment. Your ability to rise again after falling isn't just admirable, it's your superpower, and it's a superpower we all possess, though many of us never discover it because we're too afraid to fall. Now, let me introduce you to another remarkable woman, Melissa McDonald, known professionally as Mel Mel. For 15 years, Mel Mel ran her interior design business, Melmec Designs, in Ottawa. From the outside, she appeared successful, experienced, respected, with a solid reputation. But there was a problem she couldn't ignore any longer. Despite working constantly, she was barely profitable. She felt stuck in a cycle of overwork and underpay with no clear path forward. The fear of change, of potentially losing what little security she had, kept her paralyzed. I was terrified of raising my rates, she confessed. What if my clients left? What if I wasn't actually worth more? These questions haunted her until she reached a breaking point. She realized that staying small out of fear wasn't just hurting her business, it was diminishing her spirit. It was stealing her joy, her time with family, her sense of possibility. So Mel Mel did something that required immense courage. She enrolled in a business transformation program called Power of Process and made radical changes. She restructured her services around what truly served both herself and her clients. She raised her rates, not by a little, but threefold. And you know what happened? Those clients she feared losing, they stayed. Not only that, but she began attracting bigger, better projects aligned with her vision. Within just 2 months, she had hired support staff and reclaimed precious time for her family and dreams. The transformation wasn't just financial, it was existential. By facing her fears about worthiness and change, Mel Mel discovered her true value. Her story now inspires other women entrepreneurs, particularly Black women, to stop waiting for perfect conditions before making bold moves toward fulfillment. The third story that profoundly illustrates this principle belongs to Emma Greed, CEO and co founder of Good American, the inclusive fashion brand that has revolutionized the industry. Emma didn't just face personal fears, she confronted systemic ones. As one of the few Black women leading a $100 million plus company in the retail space, she navigated male dominated boardrooms where bias was often unspoken yet omnipresent. When she advocated for size inclusivity before it was mainstream fashion policy, she faced skepticism about whether such disruption could succeed commercially. The fear of failure in such a visible position would paralyze many. But Emma's approach was different. She focused relentlessly on her mission, building diverse teams and staying true to her core values around inclusion and representation, even when industry voices urged compromise. Only a few can take an idea and turn it into a $100 million business, she once said, words that echo her lived experience of overcoming doubt, both internally and externally. The results speak volumes. Good American shattered records at launch, generating $1 million in sales on day one. They set new standards across retail partnerships and inspired numerous copycat brands. But more importantly, they changed lives among customers who saw themselves represented authentically for perhaps the first time. Emma's backstory makes her courage even more remarkable. Growing up in London's East End immigrant community, she knew firsthand what exclusion felt like. That experience fueled every decision she made at Good American regarding access, opportunity, and inclusion. Today, she's not just a successful CEO, she's redefined what normal body types and fashion leadership look like. She's expanded possibilities, not just commercially, but psychologically, for young Black girls dreaming beyond glass ceilings everywhere. These three women, Melissa Minnelli, Melly Mel, and Emma Greta, embody what Melissa Montgomery emphasized throughout our interview. Facing your fears is the first step to reclaiming your power and lightening the emotional weight they place on you. Their journeys illuminate three crucial truths that can transform your life too. First, facing your fears is the gateway to freedom. No matter how overwhelming or impossible it feels, that first courageous action can lead to profound relief. The anticipation of pain is often worse than the pain itself. Second, you are not defined by what has happened to you. Your story is yours to write. Yeah, every challenge faced and every fear overcome adds new strength, resilience, and wisdom to your character. And third, growth comes from moving through discomfort with an open heart and mind. When you face your fears head on, you give yourself permission to succeed on your own terms. I can almost hear what some of you are thinking right now. That's inspiring, but my situation is different. My fears are bigger, more complex. I understand that resistance is the same voice that keeps us comfortable but small, but comfort and growth rarely coexist. As Melissa Montgomery pointed out, the space between your comfort zone and your dreams is paved with the fears you've been unwilling to face. Think about it this way: what if your fear isn't actually trying to stop you? What if it's simply highlighting what matters most to you? Fear of failure often means you care deeply about succeeding. Fear of rejection often means connection matters to you. Fear of not being enough often means you value excellence. Your fears aren't character flaws, they're signposts pointing toward your values. The women we've discussed today didn't succeed because they were fearless. They succeeded because they were brave enough to feel their fear and move forward anyway. Melissa Minnelli didn't wait until she felt confident to rebuild her life. She rebuilt her life, and confidence followed. Mel Mel didn't wait until she felt worthy of higher rates. She charged what she deserved, and her sense of worth expanded. Emma Gree didn't wait until the fashion industry was ready for inclusion. She created the change she wanted to see, and the industry adapted. This is the profound truth about courage. It's not the absence of fear, but action in the presence of fear. So I challenge you today. What fear have you been avoiding that might actually be the doorway to your next evolution? What story are you telling yourself about why you can't when the truth is you simply haven't yet? The world doesn't need more fearless people. It needs more people who feel their fears fully and move forward anyway. It needs you, not the safe version of you, but the version that's willing to fall forward into growth. Tomorrow, I want you to do one thing that scares you. Just one small thing. Send that email, have that conversation. Apply for that position, raise those rates. Say no to that obligation that's draining you. And as you do, remember the words of Melissa Montgomery. You have survived everything life has thrown at you so far. That alone means there is nothing ahead too big for your spirit. Your fear is waiting to teach you something about your courage. The question is, are you ready to learn?